Okay, so we are live. Welcome everyone. Today is Friday, which means it is our weekly Q&A day. I am super excited to finally have Miss Jenna Larson herself, which I was just saying, everyone jokingly calls me the queen of automation. And if that's true, Jenna is the queen of Facebook organic marketing. Her lives are so engaging and on point. I was just saying, I totally need to take notes when I'm watching your lives. But I love your strategy because it's based on actually networking with quality connections instead of just broadcasting spam all over the universe, which everyone hates. So I love all of your strategies. You have so much knowledge to share. So before we get into all of that, I want to make sure that everyone knows how to join us in the Zoom room. So I'm going to share my screen here. So you can go to bridgetbartlett.com. You can click the login screen before I go there if you want to create a free trial of GroupTrack, which is Jenna is the co-founder of GroupTrack. So if you want to check that out, you can get a free trial there. I also have a special bonus, so definitely contact me when you sign up. And if you go to log in and you go to visionaries, okay, or you can go to certified partners. So if you're a certified partner or a member of our program, you have access to the Q&A. So if you are a visionary, you can go into your discussion area here, go into the learning tab, go into Zoom support, and you will see the link to click here for the weekly Q&A session. If you are a certified partner, and you want to get access to the Zoom room, you go to the learning area and you go to certified partners, and then you'll be able to click there to join us in the Zoom meeting. Okay, so you just click there, it goes right into the Zoom. All right. If you're not a member of our program and you want to join, you can go to bridgetbartlett.com and do that as well and claim 200 free leads. So thank you all so much for joining me. I was totally hyping them up, Jenna, because I know you have so many golden nuggets that they're going to get from you today. So thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so excited to be here. And, we don't get to go in front of everybody's audience all the time, but when you reached out and, asked me to come here, I was like, yes. And the reason is because this girl's the queen of selling, right? I'm sure you all know she won a Tesla, right? Like, that's crazy. And that is just speaking to like the amazingness of what she does and, doing it right. And so it's always very exciting to get to connect and collaborate with other leaders in this space that are just doing amazing things. And especially, when we have kind of the same belief system, right? Because I just like to poll the audience really quickly. How many of you have gotten a DM? Let's just go with this week. Like, let's not say ever. Like, how many of you have gotten a DM this week from someone that you don't know that is just randomly trying to pitch you something, right? They're like, hey, thanks for whatever. I mean, actually, they're probably not even your friend, right? So they're just like, hey, do you need more leads? Do you want this thing? And I'm like, oh, stop, right? And it's like every time I get one of these messages, first I'm annoyed, but then my initial thought is like, it could be so much easier. Like, you poor thing, you are probably like busting your butt, sending these messages manually, getting blocked every other minute, and honestly not making any sales. And so my little heart for them, definitely starts to feel, and I'm like, there's a better way, right? And so, what we do at GroupTrack is, we've got this awesome software that Bridget, uses and is talking about, and we'll kind of share about today. But the idea behind it is that it is a system that is going to help you track, organize, manage, and monetize, right? So we are going to talk about making sales through social media. And what's super cool about it is, of course, it, gets you organized and all the things, but there are some really neat automation, ways that you can use it. And so a lot of people are like, wait, software automation, like that sounds perfect for someone that's like cold DMing someone, right? But what you'll start to really see, especially as you get to know us, that our mission and our vision is to like really disrupt the industry and to come back to being a human, right? And so what we really do is we utilize the software and the automations to simply scale your personal interactions with the world, right? We don't want a bot to take over and do it for you. We simply want to utilize the software to kind of nudge those conversations and get them started so that you can step in and be a human, offer your amazing genius that you have to the world. And ultimately, if we do it the right way, we're going to get really awesome clients, right? And it's the clients that stick. We can talk about getting thousands of leads and all the things. And I'm like, I'd rather have 200 leads, right? Like Bridget talked about, that are the right leads, that are good leads, that truly know you as a human, than thousands of leads that I'm just going to have to cold DM that are never going to convert, right? So that's why I'm really excited to be here, because again, Bridget is just of that mindset. She's teaching you guys amazing strategies in sales and such, right? And so when you can combine that power that she gives you with the power of GroupTrack, like, it's kind of crazy. So really, really excited to kind of walk you guys through some awesome stuff, answer any questions, and, hopefully get you guys some, good movement towards making sales today.
Yeah, and if you guys have questions, feel free to
Oh,
raise your
already. Okay, cool.
No, I don't see any questions yet, but definitely
Okay.
if you do, definitely feel free. So Jenna, can you give us a little bit of background on like your experience with Facebook marketing and how you and Nate came about creating GroupTrack?
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite stories. So I actually started a business about 6 years ago called Drive Performance Coaching. And basically, I was coaching online business owners on how to make sales and really how to keep their clients buying, because I'm sure you all know the likelihood of a new lead actually purchasing is about 5 to 10% versus the probability of someone who's already bought once from you buying again is up to 80%, right? And so I would really teach my clients in my coaching business how to do that, right? How to get the right people so that they buy forever. And what was so crazy is that the strategies that I was teaching them to get in these conversations and convert their clients and keep them worked so well that they were like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed, Jenna. I have conversations over here and conversations over here, and this person, converted into a client. But, it's like, I'm sure you guys have all had that moment where you're like driving on the highway and you're like, oh my God, I forgot to reply to Johnny, right? And you know that you're missing leads and you're missing money through the cracks. And that's what was happening to my clients. Like, they had so many leads and so many clients that they were like, I can't physically keep up. And so I was like, well, this is an awesome problem, right? And so I was driving one day 3 years ago and I had this idea. I was like, oh my God, we literally just need to make a system that works where we are working, which is on Facebook, right? Because the problem that was happening is that the conversations are happening in Facebook and people were having to like copy paste into a spreadsheet or copy paste into another system, and it just wasn't really working, right? And so I called this man, Nathan, who at the time owned a different software company. And he was one of my private clients in my coaching business. And I was like, Nate, I have $1 million idea. You need to build this for me. And he was like, no, it's not possible. It's not going to happen. There's absolutely no way we could do this. And then I, went about my day, cried, did the whole thing. 2 weeks later, he messaged me and he was like, Jenna, I did it. And I was like, you did what? Like, fully forgetting, the conversation. He's like, I built a CRM on Facebook. And so that was 3 years ago. And the original idea for the software was just like, let's just manage our group members so we know who's a buyer and who's a prospect. Like, it was that simple of an idea, right? And what has happened over the, last 3 years through working with entrepreneurs like Bridget and so many others that are like leading in the space is what happened is as they're in our communities using their tool, they're like, Jenna, Nate, can you build this? Can you build this? And Nate, we ask him and he says no. And then a day later, he's like, surprise, I made this awesome thing, right? And so because we have such amazing leaders in the industry using our tool and, giving us that feedback for, future builds, our tool has, turned into something that is so out of control. It now works, of course, in Facebook groups. It works on your personal page. It works in DM and Messenger. It works on Facebook. It works on Instagram. And coming soon, it's going to work in LinkedIn. And so this company, GroupTrack CRM, is the new company with the software. And truly, it took off so much that I actually closed my other company so that I could just focus on serving our users. And so what's really been beautiful is I'm able to take those strategies that I was giving my clients in my coaching company and combine that with the power of the tool. So what's really unique about working with Nathan and I is you don't just have a software engineer that made a tool that doesn't understand the needs of the user, right? You have him plus me, and that really brings the tool plus the tactics together. And so, yeah, it's just wild to see what's been able to happen.
That's one of my favorite things about GroupTrack CRM is because I am always preaching about like tools are great. There's so many tools. Like, I mean, there's a tool for everything. But when you
Yep.
pair the tool with the right strategy, that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
And so a lot of software companies, especially new ones, they don't really grasp that. But you guys have really like mastered that.
Thank you.
So that's really cool. So if you guys are thinking of signing up for GroupTrack, you can actually join Jenna's private community where she does like special strategy training and all of that, which I would definitely recommend. If this is the route you're going to go, learn from someone who is experienced doing it. And then that way you're not spending years and years trying to learn everything that she could easily teach you.
Yeah. And it's so crazy. It's not hard. The strategy and the system is simple. It's just the like nuances, right? It's like, I tell people all the time, I'm like, oh, just make this tweak on your personal page. And they're like, seriously? And it's like, it could just be that simple of little things that you're missing. So, of course, we welcome anybody in. And what's beautiful about joining our group as well is we practice what we preach. So, when you come into our community as a prospect, we're going to serve you the exact way we teach you to work your own community. So, you can feel what it feels like as well. And, to just, further on that point, Bridget, I think that's what I was kind of trying to get at, right? It's like, I own GroupTrack, but I will tell you, the tool itself is worth nothing unless you have a strategy and tactics. And that's why, when we look at, okay, well, who do we want to do a training with? Like, what are the entrepreneurs that we'd like to get in front of their community? That's why we choose people like Bridget, because Bridget's already teaching you guys the amazing sales strategies and how to do things, right? And so, again, when you couple that with our tool, magic happens. But I think that's an important piece, right? Like, we're very clear to say you're not going to just get a tool and it's going to all of a sudden fill your, coaching company or your whatever company with clients. Like, you got to have the strategy in the system. And so again, Bridget's gotten you guys a lot of really great direction. So we're excited to kind of meld the two.
Can you go through GroupTrack and kind of explain to them if they're unfamiliar, kind of give them a bird's eye view? I loved the training you did yesterday about the Facebook profile, like using your own Facebook friends, because I hear this all the time. And so when you were talking about it, I was like, yes, she knows exactly, because we are so nervous to use our personal Facebook profile for business.
Yeah.
And then everyone says, well, what about my Aunt Marie or whatever? Or, and I'm like, what kind of a unsupportive person are you just clinging on to on your Facebook profile
Right.
that would be so offended for you to share something about your business? Like
Hi.
the
Hi.
rationale, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would love for you to kind of give an overview of all of that and kind of explain really like the process of that. It's like you don't even have to go out and find new people. You
No,
just can use the resources you have.
it's wild, right? I'm like, I can show you up to 5,000 leads right now, right? And so that's the thing, right? So ideally, people who are going to, really benefit from using our tool are those who are willing to use their personal profile on Facebook to get clients, right? And so one of the things that I shared yesterday in our training is the importance of showing who you are, what you do, and who you serve on your personal profile, right? So I know a lot of people, especially those of us who kind of grew up with Facebook, like we think, oh, but it's really just to connect with our family and our friends. I have made a very conscious decision that I want to serve the world. And when I serve the world and they buy from me, I make money. And that is really wonderful, right? So because of that, I'm like, look, I'm going to use Facebook for what I can. And that is an actual database of people that I get to get in front of and potentially convert for free, right? I mean, the ability to use Facebook is absolutely wild, right? I mean, we're just sitting on gloriousness, right? And so the first thing that we have to do is make sure that we are truly kind of building our personal profile in a way that is obvious what we do. It is wild. Like, I will literally go look at people's Facebook pages all the time, and I'm like, I have no idea what you do, who you serve. Most of the time your profile is, private, which, think about this. If a lead comes over to your page and they can't see anything about what you do, why would they buy from you, right? And so one of the first things I want you guys to just think about, and I'm happy to give you our cheat sheet if you want, Bridget, but really, like, if I were to go to your page right now, would I be able to see anything about who you are, what you do, how you do it, and how to get more information, right? And there's lots of easy ways. You could put your intro right here. You can list your businesses here. You can put a link for them to join your Facebook group. You can use these featured posts to kind of promote important things. Most simply, you can have a post right here that is pinned to the top of your page that, again, gives people information about what it is that you do, right? I mean, you can see this post is just sitting here. So anybody who comes to my page is automatically going to see exactly what it is that we do. And what we are also doing is we're giving them a keyword. We're like, hey, if you want to learn more, if you want to get this strategy, whatever it may be, say this word and we'll send you the details. And as you can see, I did nothing to get these people commenting on my post other than post it and leave it, right? And so again, almost every day, I'm going to have someone who comes over to this and posts and indicates that they're interested in working with me. When you talk about like how silly and easy that is, like, what do you guys think? Does that feel like one baby little tweak to your page could mean, some really good leads? What do you guys think? How many of you guys, right, just by looking at what I've shown you so far, and I'm going to show you a lot more, so get ready, but just what I've shown you so far, how many of you guys think that you need to make some tweaks to your personal page? Just go ahead and say tweak in the chat if that's you.
I'm just going to say out loud that I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Right?
the featured section there, like, why am I not using that? Duh.
Right. I know. And I will tell you, and this is like the most fun part about what I teach, 99% of the things that I teach you, you're like, well, that's stupid. Duh. And that's what's so exciting, right? I know that it's like, things are noisy right now, right? It's like we feel like we have to do all these things and I don't know where to go. And all these people are telling. It's like, look, you don't have to do crazy hard things. Tiny little tweaks make all the difference in the world. And so that's what's really exciting, right? So I'll drop, we have a really cool cheat sheet if you guys want to use it that just kind of walks you through like, make your, your page, list this here, drop this here, right? So one thing, right, is that having a great post and getting people to comment is cool, but guess what? It doesn't make you money, right? I always share this story. My little son has an Instagram page for our, what is it called? Leopard gecko, Frederico. And we did a video and Frederico is now viral. He had 21,000 views on a video of me saying, good morning, Freddie, like a weirdo, right? And so what's super fun about that is, yeah, 21,000 views sounds amazing, right? Would you guys like a video with 21,000 views? But guess what? I don't care about that video because you want to know what? I made $0 from it, right? And so would I rather have a video with 21,000 views, but no call to action and no way to follow up with these people? Or would I rather have a post with 5 people who comment and say they're interested in working with me? I'd much rather take that one, right? So here's the thing. A lot of people are going to tell you, you need to post content, you need to post content, you need all these things, hire a copywriter, use AI, all this stuff, right? Again, a whole lot of noise because they want to sell you something, right? Well, guess what? 90% of my posts are stupid and they take me 30 seconds to write. I'm not joking. Like, I'm just going to show you guys a few examples, right? So we have this one, right, which I did take a little bit more time on. And just to give you, a reference, we give you a formula of exactly how to write your own. But let's just look in my group for a minute, just so I can show you like the truth, right? My posts, right? Some of my very best are this. Want to grab our thing that gave us this result. Literally 30 seconds to write. Okay. And then we say keyword, and then look, people comment, right? It's silly. Here's another one. I created an email series that warms up and converts your Facebook group members. Want the template? And here we go, right? Do you think that took me a lot of time? Do you think I needed to be smart and like a master marketer to come up with this? No, I was like, do you want this thing? You know, and I think sometimes we get so in our heads about like, oh, we have to be this marketer and speak like this and all this. I'm like, no, talk like a first grader. And now we're talking, right? And so here's the thing. We need to just do very simple posts. And then what we want to make sure that we do is follow up with the people who raise their hand, right? Because this is the thing. I think a lot of times we think, oh, if I post and they want it, they'll buy it, right? How many of you guys think that, right? Where it's like, well, yeah, I mean, the people on my, Facebook group or in my, on my personal profile, if I post and I make an offer or whatever, if they want it, they'll buy it, right? And I think that's a very common thought, but it's not the truth, right? And so I want you guys to think about this analogy. If someone walks into your home and you're like, hey, Frankie, the bar's over there, go ahead and make yourself a drink, right? That kind of feels awkward. And you're going to be like, oh, no, I'll take a water. It's okay, right? Because like, that's like, I'm going to go in your fridge and start like opening bottles. Like, that's weird, right? Versus if you walk into my house and I'm like, Maria, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I know you just had this really awesome milestone at work and we got to celebrate. I got your favorite bottle of Chardonnay. Would you like a glass? And I'm asking you, Maria, right? You're going to be like, yes, right? Do you guys see the difference between those two things? It's the same thing with your posting. If you're just posting, hey, I got this cool thing, want it? And then you wait for people to go buy it, it's not going to happen. If you post this cool thing and then you follow up with them and you say, hey, Maria, I know you said you were interested. Would you like this? Then we're talking, right? So here's the thing, right? I think we can agree, right? It sounds like we're on the same page, right? We're like, oh my gosh, we got all these people commenting. We're so excited. But if you do nothing with them, nothing will happen, okay? And so this is where we want to make sure that we are tracking these leads and that we're following up with these leads, okay? And so it's the same thing, whether it be, a post that you do that's going well, right? Like this one, I want to follow up with these people, or simply just using your friends list, right? Same thing, you guys. There's tons of people on your friends list that could either be a good fit for you or maybe their friend is, right? And so we don't want to overlook this. But what we want to make sure that we're doing no matter what is tracking where these people are in your process, okay? So does anybody see anything different about my friends list than yours, right? You see these cool little colors here? This is my software. This is GroupTrack, okay? And so what it's going to do for you is it's going to enable you to put them in what we call a pipeline. So I want you guys to think about a pipeline as kind of like a conveyor belt, right? Think about, okay, if I add them to this pipeline, what I want to do is track them from the left to the right, right? And so I find them, I put them in here, and what I'm simply going to do is just move them from one step to the next, right? And so ideally here, as we go to our friends list, we're going to say, okay, this guy, Nathan, who just happens to be my business partner, right? I'm going to put him in the stage that says identified as potential lead, right? Because I'm like, oh, maybe he's a good fit for my offer. Then what I have to do, because again, remember, posting and praying or being friends with someone and hoping that they're just going to magically buy your stuff is not a strategy, right? What I want to do is proactively serve him. So notice this. I'm going to put him in this next stage that says started conversation. What you're going to notice is my software is working, right? It says, hey, you have to message that you could maybe send this guy. Do you want to look at it? And so watch what happens, guys. We've added him to our pipeline. And then GroupTrack is going to provide you with an ideal message to send this person to start a conversation. Okay. So you're going to notice it says, what's the point of social media if we're not being social? I'd love to learn about how we might be able to support one another, right? And that's genuinely the truth. I want to know, is there something I can do to support you, right? You know, like Bridget is supporting me right now by bringing me in front of our community. So I want you guys to think outside of the box. I'm not messaging this person in cold being like, hey, you're my friend. You want to buy something? I'm like, hey, what are you up to? Can we collaborate? Is there a way that we can support each other? And so what's really cool is I'm going to send this message from my personal messenger to this person's personal messenger using GroupTrack. And so again, what's going to happen is we're going to be able to track that message here in our system so we know what messages we've sent, and all sorts of other cool stuff, okay? You can even automate some of these messages, right? Let's say you go through your friends list and you're like, hey, I think that these people all are a good fit for my offer. You can then, trigger messages to send to them, okay? Again, the purpose of this is not to be a bot. It is not to replace you. Our mission is very much around keeping the human in it. So what you're going to see is that we use this to trigger conversations, to nudge them along, right? And then when they respond, we actually talk to them, okay? Now, is anybody thinking like, oh my gosh, if I sent a bunch of messages, I might get overwhelmed in the follow-up, right? You guys saw my post there and you're like, whoa, lots of people, like how could we even? Well, guess what? This is pretty awesome. When you go into your messenger, you're going to find that GroupTrack is here as well. So again, you guys can see there's all the stages. I know exactly where they are in my process, right? I don't have to wonder, are they a lead? Are they on a free trial? Are they a client? Like I know exactly where this person is in my system. Now, what's also really cool is let's say I sent some messages like I've done here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, right? I'm sure people have responded, but I don't know where the heck they are. I'm going to be able to press a button, click show only messages I haven't read, and apply a filter. And what GroupTrack is going to do is literally just show me the messages that I have missed. And so that's going to allow me to focus my time on the people that are really engaging and are interested, right? So again, I'm not wasting time cold DMing and trying to get stuff done. It's just so much easier for me to be able to, kind of focus. Now, I know that I've shared a lot so far and I have a lot more to go, but I want to just pause and see what your thoughts are so far. What are your ahas and what are your questions?
Well, I will just say that I use this every single day and I love it. I will also say that it's so reliable. I mean, when you're talking about like Facebook tools, oh my gosh, they're all buggy. And it's
Oh yeah,
not the people's fault. It's not the business owner's fault. It's just Facebook is like, I mean, I think that you said Nate has to check the code every single morning
every
because Facebook
single day.
is always changing things. So you guys are so good about that because anytime I've ever seen like, oh, like something isn't here and it should be, it's like I blink and then it's there again.
Yeah.
So I love that you guys are so good about communicating those changes but also so good about fixing them. So I never have to worry about, well, I need to approve my group members and then something's not working. My automations are always working.
Yeah, it is wild. We love our clients like you that get it, right? Because not everybody does, but we have to be honest, we're borrowing Facebook, right? We're borrowing Instagram, and they change their code almost daily, right? They will go from like a period in their code to a colon, and that will break us. And so we put 90% of our investment back into service and support. And so we are 100% the fastest on the market at getting those things fixed and being very proactive. Most of the time, people don't even know something got changed. Like we identify it. One of our testers is actually in India, and so they're ahead of us. They do our testing. They are already identifying problems, and we fix it before people even see it. So it's very important to us that we do it, but we also are very transparent as well. Something may break, right? And we will fix it, but you got to give us a moment. So people are pretty, it's like if something goes down, it's really fun because we will get like, literally our customers will send us gift cards like, here's coffee on us. We're so obsessed with this. We need this to work so desperately because we literally can't live without it now. Please get it done. And so like, it's just really fun because our community is so amazing.
Yeah, and it's really that communication is so important. I worked in customer service for way too long in my
Okay.
life. And most people will, even as angry as they could possibly be, most people are completely compassionate when they get that it's a
Yep.
problem and that you're trying to work on it to resolve it. So just a simple email, and this is good for any
Yep.
software owner. If you recognize a problem and you're working on it, just send an email. Just
Yep.
let everybody know, because us as the user, what we're doing is like, I tried this and I cleared my cookies, and it's like we'll spend 3 hours working on this. I would rather get the email and be like, oh, they're working on it. I'm moving on to other
Yep.
things.
Agreed. Yeah. We probably over communicate maybe a little bit, but yeah, it's important to us that our customers feel served and supported. So absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Amazing. Any
Hey,
questions?
so definitely keep talking about. I think I know what you're like leading into, which is absolutely my favorite feature, aside from like the
Yeah.
group automations and things.
Yep.
But also definitely, I loved what you said yesterday about why you guys do not auto accept friend requests or send friend
And
requests.
yep.
Because I am a firm believer in all of that too. So while you talk about all of that stuff, I would love for you to kind of share with them what you said yesterday about that, because that
Absolutely.
was
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, it's funny. It's one of the feature requests we get all the time, and we are very firm that we won't do it. And the reason is there are other software tools that are, competitors in a way, right, where they will automate your friend requests, right? So, maybe they'll send like 5 friend requests per day or something like that. There are even tools, this pains me, that will like auto like comments for or posts for you. And I'm like, oh my God, what if it does something you don't agree with? And now you have like your name on it. Anyways, wild. So people ask us, like, oh, why don't you automate your friend requests? And the problem with this is if you do that, Facebook only allows you to have 5,000 friends. So now you've sent all these friend requests. But here's the problem: you don't know who these people are. You don't know if they're actually a good fit for your offer, and you have no context for where you found them or why you sent the friend request. And so you're basically just filling your list and wasting it, right? I would so much rather have 5,000 friends on my list that are really ideal clients that I can serve, right? And the other thing is, I want you guys to think about this, right? Especially for us who are using our personal profile versus like a business page, right? Um, you know, this is the thing that you're using and putting out there. And so if you are, not filling your friends list with the actual right people, then you just have like the wrong people seeing your page. And the more people on your friends list who are your ideal client, the more likely they are going to see your content. And we want your ideal client to see your content, not your Aunt Martha, right? And so that's why we were kind of joking around like, sure, it's nice to be friends with like people you met in high school, but are you talking to them? Or, it's like, let's just use Facebook for what it can be and let's make some money, right? And so anyways, I could go on and on about my rants about like, organic versus, ads. I will just say blanket, if you are not making a minimum of 10K monthly, with what you're doing organically, I wouldn't even look at ads, right? And unfortunately, everybody's going to tell you the opposite because they want to sell you their ads course. But if you do not have a way to track your leads, if you don't have a system to manage them and bringing them from a process from lead to client, and if you don't have the skills to convert them, then please, for the love, you're just throwing money away. So
Amen, Esther.
yeah.
Amen.
And just to give context too, because I think a lot of people look at this and they think, oh, for this to work, right? To like make 10K, let's just say, on social media, you have to have a high ticket offer, you have to have a big team, you have to have all this stuff. And, I always tell this to just give hope. Last year we sold over $1 million just, from our Facebook group. And the way we did it is a low ticket offer, right? So we don't sell a 5K program, a 10K program. Our tool is between $57 and $157, which literally, if you sell one client a month, it's paid for, right? And so, we're not selling something expensive, which means we have to do volume, right? So low ticket offer. Our group only has 3,500 people in it when, in the grand scheme of groups, that's actually not very big. We have one team member, so it's myself, the CEO is doing the work in the group, and one team member. And we did all of that without a single dollar in ad spend. We have not spent $1. And so I just share that to give you hope, right? You don't need to have the big group. You don't need to have a huge team. You don't need to have high ticket. It's possible with the right strategy, the right system, and the right skills. And again, that's why we love, collaborating with people like Bridget, because she is giving you skills and strategies, right? And if you don't have that, just, magically getting a technology is not going to really get you there. All right. Did that, I kind of went on a rant, but hopefully that kind of shared about the friend stuff. So I know Bridget wanted me to share like our most exciting thing ever, which I'm about to show you. So again, right, we talked about this idea where we have, let's say a post that is going well. So, we'll just, show this one as an example. We just offered an audit to our current clients, right? And so you'll see the people are commenting, I want this, I want this, I want this, right? And so that's exactly what we want, is we want to tell the person, hey, do you want this? Say yes, okay? Very simple. Now, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, that's a lot of people to follow up with, right? And so one of the most amazing things that you can do with GroupTrack is you can automate the response, okay? So let's just like think of strategy for a moment, okay? Remember how I talked about posting and praying not working? You have to track and follow up with every single person who comments on your post. They have raised their hand and said, Maria, Mark, I'm interested in working with you. And so it is like wild to me when people don't follow up, okay? And if that's hurting you in the gut, good, right? If you're like, Jenna's really getting me, like, good, let's do something about it, right? So here's the thing, okay? What we want to do when someone comments on a post, we want to encourage that behavior, and we also want to hack the algorithm, right? So how do we do it? Number one, you need to react to every person who comments. You could like it, you could love it, you could wow it, you could cry if you want to, it doesn't matter, right? So write this down, react to every person who comments, okay? So again, if you're not exactly sure what that means, right, you're just going here, you're hovering over this like, and you're choosing one of those, a like, a love, a hug, whatever you want, okay? So we're going to react. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to reply, okay? We want to basically think about your Facebook post that's in the public as you're at a party and you're in the living room, right? And you're talking to a bunch of people, okay? We want to make sure we're answering someone. If someone says something to you, would you not respond back? So let me ask you, why, if someone comments on your post, are you not replying? Be a human, right? Okay, so we're going to react and we're going to respond to every single person who comments, okay? Now, but here's the thing. Ideally, what we want to do is we want to move them from talking in the living room, because it's loud and it's noisy, and we want to get them into the kitchen so we can be a little bit more intimate and have a quiet conversation and go a little bit deeper, right? So when you reply to their comment, we're going to say, thank you so much. I'm excited to talk to you about this, or whatever it may be. I'm going to send you a DM, meaning I'm going to send you a direct message so we can get in Messenger and have a conversation. Okay. So we react, we reply, we send them to the DMs. And then obviously we have to DM them, right? Because we want to have a conversation. Again, you're going to see, especially if you follow me, that I put lead magnets up and I do these posts every week. But here's the truth, and this might really surprise you. I actually don't care if you open my lead magnet or opt in or do any of those things. How many times do you guys actually utilize the downloads that you guys get? not that often. Maybe if they're good, maybe if they come from Bridget or GroupTrack, then we know they're really good, so we got to use them, right? But otherwise, like you open it and you kind of forget about it, right? So here's the thing. I don't really care if you open it. If you do, it's going to be a great treat for you because it's lots of value. But if you don't, that's okay. Here's what I care about. I want to find out who are the people that are my ideal client. Those are the people who are going to comment. This simply gives me an opportunity to get into the DMs with you without being a salesy weirdo, right? Because I'm like, hey, Edna, thank you so much for commenting about my post on XYZ. Here's the resource I promised you. But let me just ask you a really quick question. What is your biggest struggle with this? And now we're talking. And now I'm uncovering your needs, right? And what's also happening is as I'm chatting with you, right, I'm going to put you into GroupTrack so I can actually track where you are in this process, right? So again, here's my little tool. It's glorious, right? And we'll just imagine as I'm talking to you, I'm bringing you through my process. So I know where you are. So if you tell me, ooh, I really struggle with, then I'm going to add a tag that says pain point. Don't know what to say, right? And I'm going to track this information that you share with me because I'm a human and there's no way I could remember these things about everybody, right? So I track this information so I can serve you at another level. Now, I just added a tag here indicating she doesn't know what to say. Let's just pretend it's about DMing, right? Well, let's say next week I'm going to do a training either on my personal page or in my Facebook group on what to say when you're in the DMs with someone. Guess what? I'm going to be able to go into GroupTrack and say, hey, GroupTrack, show me everybody with the pain point knowing what to say. Now it's going to show me all the people who have this specific tag, and then I'm going to be able to send them a direct message or tag them in my training and say, hey, I know when we chatted before, you mentioned you're struggling with knowing what to say when you're in the DMs. I'm doing a training on it this week. Is that something you'd benefit from joining? Think about how that person is going to feel on the receiving end, right? They're like, what? You remember that, right? It's so cool, right? And then you get better engagement, you get more people, and they're the right people, right? Okay, Bridget's like, Jenna, you've gone so far off topic. Here's where we were, right? This is also called the Jenna experience. I am like all over the place. Okay, so remember we were talking about like you got all these people, right? So we have to react, reply, and DM, right? And so what's really awesome is you can take this post or whatever post that you're working on, and you can actually put it into GroupTrack, and it will do all of that for you. So think about it this way, right? You can say GroupTrack, add every single person who commented on this post to GroupTrack. So now you're tracking them, right? You can have it automatically add a tag so that you remember exactly what it is that they said they wanted to learn about. It's going to auto react. It's going to auto reply, and it is going to automatically send them a direct message on your behalf. What do you guys think about that?
One, I love this because, going back to we don't need to send friend requests, especially when you get to your max friend requests. If you still want to do outreach, what are you going to do then?
Yeah.
What I love about GroupTrack is you don't have to send a friend request to put them in GroupTrack.
Yeah.
You just go add them manually. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, and let's say you've got a Facebook group full of people. You can literally click one button. All your Facebook members will be added to a pipeline. So that way you can track them. And actually, that's so funny because we haven't even talked about Facebook groups, which is like one of the best parts about this, right? So just, to kind of give you guys one more thing to, drool over is we have, these amazing membership questions. And this is like truly some amazing value for having a Facebook group is that we can ask these awesome questions to learn more about the people who are joining your group, right? And so number one, we want to make sure that we've got some good questions laid out that are going to actually help you learn about the people who are coming into your community. And so, Bridget, this might even be really good for your community if you don't have this question like this. But the first thing we want to say is we help people get this result how do you want to get started in our community? And so for us, for example, we offer a free trial. We ask if they want to come to our upcoming masterclass. We ask if they'd like to learn about our coaching program. And what's so awesome is, guys, guess what? People fill these out every single day. And so, if they ask me for a free trial, I'm like, hey, when you joined the group, you said you wanted a free trial. And so we get those all day, right? Or if, hey, I want to join your masterclass. Well, we can automatically enroll them in the masterclass, right? And hey, we book calls about our coaching program every day from this one group question, right? So we want to make sure our questions are really dialed in. And then we also want to make sure we're asking for their email. So one thing to note, GroupTrack will not scrape anything. We want to keep our tool, compliant. And so you would have to ask someone to give you their email for GroupTrack to capture it. But here's the thing. Let's just assume you've got your amazing group questions, right? And they give you some answers. If I just click approve, guess what happens to that information? It's gone, gone, right? But if I'm using GroupTrack, right, which is our little tool here, what will happen is you're going to see that our icon shows up on the group approval button, okay? So what's going to happen is when I click approve, Ron is going to be admitted into my Facebook group. He is going to be created as a contact, right, like this, inside of GroupTrack, so I am able to track him, okay? What else is going to happen is the answers he gave me here, we're going to capture those in GroupTrack as well. Now, to make it even more exciting, I can make it so that GroupTrack is going to assign a tag based on how they answered the questions. So for example, we asked Ron here, what would you like to master in the next 90 days? And he said he wants to fill his pipeline with leads. So when I approve him into GroupTrack, when I go in there, he's going to have a tag on his account that says he wants to get more leads. That is going to really, really help me so that as I am, trying to serve him and ultimately convert him in my community, right? I am going to know that his main, reason for wanting to be here is that he wants to get more leads, right? So it really, really helps me focus my attention, right? So super awesome and really, really helpful for getting people into your community. And so you can see, look, I know like these are people who have joined my community. I know if they are at risk. I know if they've joined. I know if they're a team member. I mean, so much good information as they come in, okay? Now, last couple things, when you admit someone into your group using GroupTrack, you can also set it up so that GroupTrack sends them a welcome DM automatically. And so that's a huge time saver so that you can really start engaging with your community members. And if you're using a system like ActiveCampaign, Kartra, ConvertKit, Go High Level, a white labeled Go High Level, the moment you approve them into your group, if they gave you their email address, they are also automatically created as a contact in that system, which means in the system, you can automatically set up a welcome series, which is going to like really take it to the next level. So, I mean, out of control.
Can I totally share with you my use case because I do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, like I do high level training. I am not quiet about high level. I love high level.
Yeah.
So when people join my group, they are either they don't have high level, they've never heard of it. They are a sub account in someone else's high level account, or they just already have high level.
Right.
So I actually ask them those questions, which then sends that into my high level CRM, and then it branches off and segments, and then it sends them information about how to join our program according to the answers they've given, which is so cool because then you can like start removing tags and adding tags, and you can tell the entire customer journey once you get crazy advanced and psycho about automations like I am.
Oh, yeah.
It's so helpful because that was in the beginning one of the number one questions people had. Well, can I still join your group if I have high level? And so I'm able to just immediately answer those questions
Yeah.
without them like wondering and getting in the group and all. So I love it. And of course they get emails and then they get a message from me saying, hey, just sent you an email with all of your stuff. If you have questions, let me know. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's crazy. So just to give you guys context, right? Because you might be thinking like, oh my God, what are the golden handcuffs? Like once you see GroupTrack, it's kind of hard to know that you could survive your business without it, right? So most of the time when we show people, they're like, oh Lord, what's this going to cost me? Because I desperately feel like I need it. Like I can't unsee it, right? And so one of the things is, first of all, like our price is stupidly low. I can tell you, the people who are using our tool and using it with a strategy and system, they literally will message us and are like, I don't understand your price. We would pay 5 times for this, right? And we haven't done that, and we haven't changed our pricing probably in over 2 years because we just want to make sure it is accessible, right? But for some, right, our tool is either 57.97 or 157 monthly. And here's the thing, right? For some people that are not really like blowing up their business, that might feel even hard for them, right? But here's the thing, my big question for you when, deciding is this the tool for you is, are you going to use your personal profile and or a group or DMs to make sales, right? Like that's question number 1. So go ahead and put yes or no in the chat to that question. So I'll say it one more time. Are you going to use your personal profile, your DMs, or your Facebook group, or all of them to make sales? Okay. If you're a no, then it's probably not a great fit for you, right? Unless you are using Instagram, which in that case, it works on Instagram as well. Okay. So if you are, here's the thing, right? If you want to make sales on social media, there are certain things you have to do. You have to post, you have to follow up with people, you have to engage with them, you have to send them DMs, you have to work your Facebook group, like whatever it is that you are going to do, right? And every single one of those things is going to be necessary if this is the route you choose to go. And so, it is just one of those things you need to know if you are going to, use social media, you're going to have to do the work. And so what's absolutely crazy is people are like, oh, I'll just do this myself. And that's where I was before I started GroupTrack. Remember, I told you guys, my clients were like so overwhelmed because the strategies work, but then they didn't have a way to track it. And so to give you guys perspective, right? We actually have a calculator that we use if someone is trying to decide, like, is this worth it for me, right? And what is so crazy is that if you actually do the work yourself, which we know is required, and we give you we have a whole thing where we give you estimates of how long each thing will take. Copying and pasting an email from your group entry questions into high level. Like literally, if we were going to pay a VA $10 a day to simply copy and paste it from there to there, that would be over $100 a month that you would have to pay that VA just to do that one thing, right? And so anyways, we did some calculations. If you were going to pay a VA to do the work required to get the results, it would be over $700 a month if you do it manually. It's ridiculous, right? And so to be like 57.97 or 157, it's kind of a no-brainer, right?
Well, I will say I'm on the highest plan. What I love about that is the AI, which you didn't even talk about. It's like,
No.
I know there's so many cool things about group chat. It's like, how can you talk about them all?
Yeah.
But that is super cool because every Facebook tool, you're required to create segments in your messaging because we're kind of trying to trick Facebook. We don't want them to know we're using automation. And so we have to rewrite the same thing. If you've ever sat at your computer and you've thought, how do I say that again the same way in a different way? It's so annoying. But the AI will write it for you. So that's super cool. And honestly, I don't use any other. I organize my leads, I automate my group, and so I have some template messages that I send out. That's basically what I use it for. At the 157 is such an easy decision.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is so easy because the amount of time, I always say when you're choosing a tool, choose is this cost going to be worth, the time that I'm saving? So yeah, you're so right about that.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
guys have any questions for Jenna before we go and do the spin the wheel and all of that stuff?
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it so much. And if you guys want, you are welcome to join our community or follow me on Facebook. Because like I said, one of the cool things is that I practice what I preach. And, typically I'll do a post, it'll work well or whatever happens. And I'm like, look, I just did this. Now you go do it. Right. So we very much try to, serve and support and, tell everybody what we're doing.
I
Would
do
it be
see.
possible to get the cheat sheet that you talked about, put in the chat
Yeah.
maybe?
Totally. Let me grab it for you guys.
I
All
have
right,
a
go
question.
ahead.
Very interesting.
Ask your question. She grabs
Okay,
that.
my question is, I work with different people that have different platforms that they work on. Does this work on other platforms? I heard you mention something, but I didn't catch it.
Yeah. So right now, we work on Facebook, on Instagram, and then coming soon. Actually, you guys, you're the first people I'm going to say this to. Well, so LinkedIn is coming soon, and then we're adding school. You guys are the first ones to know that. Nobody knows that. Super
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
Breaking news.
It's breaking. It is breaking. Breaking news.
Getting the deets. All right. You guys have anything else to ask Jenna? No, I don't see any hands raised. All right, cool. We'll go ahead and spin the wheel. Jenna, you're welcome to stay if you want to.
Yeah.
I
Would
don't.
you mind if we do a quick pick so I can just post
Sure,
and
yeah.
okay. Hi, Elaine. All right. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so, so much. And I'm sure that we'll have to have you back because as they start using it, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, we
Yeah.
have to have Jenna back to ask more questions.
Amazing. Anytime. Thank you guys. See you later.
So have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to call out the names quickly here and make sure that I have called everyone's name. Edna, Frankie, Manny, Manolo, Maria, Mark, Terry, and Ray. Did I miss anyone? No? Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. All right, you see the wheel there? All right, so let's go ahead and spin it. You guys do see the wheel, right? Okay, cool. It's Manolo.
I could not need it any better time than now. That was really good.
All right, I'll send you the link to book your private consultation. Or actually, I should not assume. You do get an option. Do you want 2 reseller licenses or a free 30-minute private
I'll
consultation?
take the 30 minutes, 7 days a week, twice on Sundays.
Okay. Okay, cool. Did you guys have any questions for me or anything that I can help you with before we go for the weekend? Yeah, right? You had a question?
Yeah, no question, just a comment. You guys keep asking me to do a few things, and so I have a brand new video up on my YouTube channel, and it's explaining the very simple way of getting a good highlighter in your deal. If I can show you my screen, I'll show you what it looks like.
Right, do this, Ray. Instead of sharing the tip that's in the video, share with us how we can watch it on your YouTube channel because we want to get you some watch time
Okay.
and subscribers for your channel. So I'm giving you a large traffic source here.
Thank you. I just put it in the chat, so I mean I can do more too. But yeah, let me do that. I put the way to access it in my chat.
All right, let me see if I can see the chat here. Oh, I don't see it in there. But it's what, Ray at rayhines.com?
Yeah, it's YouTube and then / at rayhines.com.
Yeah.
But give me just a second here.
So
Man.
what is the tip about Ray that we're going to go to your YouTube channel to watch?
To highlight, to figure out various ways to
don't show us the tip, Ray. Don't show
Oh,
us
no.
the tip. We want to
Okay.
go to your YouTube channel and we want to watch it on your YouTube channel.
Right, it's there. So I'll just stop sharing. Just go
I'm gonna
to
look right now for your YouTube channel because this is what we want to do. We want to get traffic to our social media so that we can start getting subscribers, and the people who are interested in what we are talking about on our channel, then they can become subscribers and potentially customers. So if you guys want to see the tip that Ray is wanting to share here, go to youtube.com at Ray Hines.
it's the second one there. But
Oh, it is.
I have two playlists, but
This playlist is the
yeah,
same.
that's if you went to the playlist, it would be the tips, tricks.
This one
playlist.
right here.
Yes, ma'am. That's it.
Oh, and you have the OBS with one monitor too. That's a good
Yes.
tip.
You told me not to tell anybody until I posted it. So
Yeah, because I want you to get the traffic and the watch and the subscribers. I have
the
your
next,
best interest at
the next
heart.
one is text to speech and speech to text, so everybody can use it.
I told Jenna that you are our very own Geek Squad. That's what we count on you for.
Oh.
All right, you guys have anything else that I can help you with before we go for the weekend? And Edna said she just subscribed. So Manolo?
No. I just wanted to say have
Oh,
a
just wave it?
nice
Okay.
weekend.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have an awesome weekend. If you want to check out GroupTrack, go to bridgetbartlett.com, go to the other or tool add-ons. You can check that out for free, see if it's a good fit for you. And I will see you all on Monday, same time, same place. Go make your vision a reality.